Okay, so let's begin with the skill enhancement session 2, and today we will be starting with the introduction. Now, with respect to introduction, what is the importance of an introduction? Don't forget, don't tell me about UPSC or forget about UPSC or essay introduction, but overall, in general, tell me the importance of introduction. Sets the tone for the upcoming event. That's it. Sets the tone. Yeah, obviously it sets the tone. Building the background impression is the last impression. Maintains rapport, tells what's coming ahead, gives us into the peak. Oh my God. Briefly gives the overview of the next content. Okay. So, introduction, if you see, right? Take example, normal introduction. They say, right? First impression is the best impression. So, the thing here is, so you are making an impression on the opposite person. Let's say you are going for a job interview or even UPSC interview. The first 5 minutes are crucial because the first impression is the best impression. Or imagine you are out on a date. If at all आपका first impression ठीक नहीं है, there is not going to be a second date. So that's the importance of introduction, the first few minutes, because first impression is the best impression. Now, coming to this UPSC wala essay. So, in UPSC essays, introduction is again very important, and it is important for two particular reasons. The first one is to convey to the examiner you have interpreted the topic correctly. So, to convey to the examiner that you have interpreted the topic correctly, this is the importance of introduction. Next thing is creating a lasting impression in the mind of the examiner. That's about it. That is the importance of introduction. Now, if you remember the baseline test discussion, I made a prediction just by reading the introduction where this essay might end up. And that prediction came out to be true. So, just by reading introduction, experienced examiners get a idea in their mind of where this essay might end up, and trust me, 80% of the time or 70 to 80% of the time we are right. It's occasionally that happens that introduction is outstandingly written and the body and conclusion is not nice, or occasionally it happens that body and introduction is poorly written and body and conclusion are amazing. Those are all occasional things. Generally, what we read in the introduction is a proper reflection of your body and your conclusion, and that is what something we expect, we actually expect from your essay. So you have to write a strong introduction. So we will see with respect to the strong introductions. So let's move to the various, one second. Yeah, let's move to the various parts of the introduction. So introduction has three parts in standard format: the hook, the funnel, and the thesis. The thesis statement. The hook, the funnel, and the thesis statement. Now, we'll start with hook. And pay attention now. This part will be dictated. So you can pay attention. And then when I dictate, you can take down the notes. Okay? So for now, pay attention. So what is a hook? Have you seen a fish hook? I think all of you have. It will be somewhat like this with a sharp or pointed end. And then a worm is put as a bait here. This is the bait. And then the fish comes and it captures that. And while capturing that, it gets captured. Right, simple. My drawing is not the prettiest, so please bear with me. So that is the fish hook. So by writing a hook, you are actually capturing the attention of the examiner. As simple as that. The purpose of the hook is just to capture the attention of the examiner and convey to him, sir, I'm going to like sort of impress you in this essay. After reading the hook, it should be like, can't wait to read the body and conclusion. And along with that, yes, you have to convey that you have successfully understood the topic. That's what the purpose the hook serves. Or if I have to tell it, as we say in Hindi, dana dalna, right? Simple. That's is the hook. Dana dalna is the hook. So if you see here, this exactly is the hook. Ow, ow. Like you are calling the examiner's attention ki bhai aa jao, get impressed by my hook. And I'm going to write a very good essay in the body and as well as in the conclusion. This is just the trailer. Picture abhi baki hai mere dost. As simple as that. Or if I have to show you one more gif from this famous Fir Hera Fairy. Now, if you're seeing, he is taking the defunct erstwhile 1,000 rupee note and he's wiping the desk and sitting on it. Just look at Rajpal Yadav's expression. And if you have watched the movie, you know that he is trying to get his attention. See, you don't have to sort of make the examiner expression like Rajpal Yadav. I'm just dramatizing it here. What you have to do is very simple. You just have to grab his attention and convey to him that, yes, sir, topic I have understood and I am going to write a good essay. So topic to samajh aa gaya. Now I am going to write a good essay. So that is the purpose of hook. And there are various types of hooks that can be written in the UPSC exam. I'll just tell you the various types of hook that can be written. And after that, I'll dictate and then we will start with the class exercises on hook. Okay? So the first one and the most used one for UPSC's civil services examination is the anecdotal or a story hook. You start by an anecdote or a story to grab the attention of the examiner. So remember here that by human psychology, stories are a best way of capturing the attention of the audience or the examiner. If you remember the baseline test discussion, I started that by telling a lesser known anecdote about Rahul Dravid. So stories are relatable. Stories can be relatable and interest can be generated. That baseline test copy, if you remember, the student started off with an anecdote of Sheetal Devi, which was quite good. Which was quite good. So when you start with an anecdote or mini story, not like a detailed story, please do not write an elaborate story. Like for example, taking the baseline test topic, if you want to shine like a star, first embrace the humility of night. Instead of just sticking to the crux, and let's say you wanted to use the story of APJ Abdul Kalam. First of all, it's a cliche. You should not use it in the introduction. But just for the sake of argument, bear with me. So, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, you want to convey that due to his struggle, his perseverance, he embraced the humility and became successful, became a star. You should keep it short. It's not like you should not write like a mini biography. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, born in Rameshwaram in a very poor, humble Indian family. He, as a schoolboy, worked as a newspaper delivery boy. And after that, he graduated from engineering. Then he applied to be a pilot. After that, he failed and was unsuccessful in becoming a pilot. He was very, very sad, dejected. But Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam did not give up. After that, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam somehow got into DRDO as a scientist. There he met his mentor, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. And then the examiner will be like Baskar Bhai. Okay. So you don't have to go that detail and write a mini biography or mini anecdote or go too much in detail. Remember what the parameter and to write concisely. UPSC says that and to write concisely. So that is something that you should write. If you are going for an anecdotal or a story hook, write concisely, right? So, and that is one of the most written hook, anecdotal or a story question. The next question is interesting question hook. You start by asking a interesting question or a couple of questions. So interesting questions have to be ensure relevant. You cannot be like क्या आपके टूथपेस्ट में नमक है, right? Or how to embrace the humility of night and shine like a star and become a superstar and then become a mega star. Don't add irrelevant questions is what I'm saying. Use your common sense. If at all you're using for an interesting question hook, so use your common sense. Don't don't for whatsoever reason have irrelevant or nonsensical question. The next type of hook is the fact or a statistic hook. Now, this fact or a statistic hook, you have to go for an again interesting fact or a statistic that is lesser known. Don't use common data that you have inherited in GS. See, the purpose of hook, okay, the purpose of hook is to, the purpose of hook is to capture the attention of the examiner. That means it has to be unique. If you are just going with the ordinary ones where hardly there is any uniqueness or a commonly known fact, then it fails to serve the purpose of a hook. And that is something that you have to ensure that doesn't happen. I'll come to description hook in a bit. That is, description hook is a worst case scenario. We'll come to that in a bit. Next is a hook that I want you to avoid. I'm scratching it actually. Strong statement and declaration hook. So in this strong statement and declaration hook, why I'm trying to avoid is because you can make a lot of mess here. And once it happened, 4 years back, I was taking the class. I told strong statement or a declaration hook is as an author, you make a strong statement and a declaration to start off with to capture the attention of the examiner. Couple days later, one of my student he wrote an essay using a strong statement or a declaration hook, and he came to me for evaluation. And in that, it was written, brace yourself for you are about to be mind blown after reading this essay. After reading that, I was so mind blown that I decided that this technique I will never teach again. Because first of all, it is not fruitful. Second of all, these kind of things can happen. So forget about strong statement or a declaration hook. And then next is a quotation hook. Before that, there is one more I want you to know. that is called as a comparative hook. Comparative hook is you take two things, two similar things, and compare either across time, either across space. So across time means how it was in the past and how it is now. For example, a laptop, how it was 10 years back, how it is now, or how it was 20 years back, how it is now. So that means the entity is same. You're just saying past and present. Or across space. That means two different geographical location, but the time is same. Compare India and Pakistan, India and USA. So time remains same, but geography changes. So either you take two things and compare them across time or across space. And when you do that, by comparing that, you are trying to grab the attention of the examiner, and that is called as a comparative hook. All right. And then is the quotation hook. This quotation hook is very simple. You start with a quote. But this quotation hook, remember here, dear friends, should not be used for philosophical topic. Why? Very simple. The topic that is given is itself a quote. You cannot really quote a quote. It does not make any logical sense. Actually, it can lead to confusion. Like, for example, let's say there is this topic, PYT, courage to accept and dedication to improve are two keys to success. And you are starting with failures are the stepping stone to success, and then you're putting that in inverted commas, box, and all like wow, wow, nothing wow about it. The examiner will be like, what is it? I know the failure part is common, but the thing here is the of crux of the topic changes. Courage to accept, dedication to improve has a different crux. Failures are stepping stone to success has a different crux. Are they similar? Yes, there is 70% similarity, but still the crux is different. But for technical topics or GS type topics, you can use it easily. This can be used for technical topics or GS topics. Right? So that is about the various types of hook that you have to write. The first one is the anecdotal or a mini story hook, the most used ones in CSE. Next one is a interesting question hook, where you ask an interesting question. Fact or statistic hook, lesser known facts or statistic. And then is the quotation hook, where you start by a quote, but that's not to be used for philosophical topic, but for technical topics. And then you have the comparative hook, where you compare two things, either across time or across space. As simple as that. The descriptive hook or description hook, that's the worst case scenario. That I will not tell now. First, we will, after we are done with the class exercises for hook, then I will tell you the worst case scenario. I don't want you to start getting dependent upon the description hook right from the outset. Right? So these are the various types of hook that you write or you can use to write in your examination. And then how to write a hook? Pick any of the hook based on the nature of the topic and then start. But there are certain things that you have to ensure while writing the hook. Number one, that hook should be within the scope of the topic. In searching for uniqueness, do not go outside the scope of the topic. Do not go outside the scope of the topic. And ensure that hook is connected to the entirety of the topic, not just one part of it. Let's say the same baseline topic. If you want to shine like if you want to shine like a star, first embrace the humility of night. And if you're taking the same APJ Abdul Kalam example, you shouldn't be like Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, despite all the failures, kept working hard, learned from his mistakes, did not give up, believed in himself, and that took him towards success. So if you see this, the embracing the humility part is very well expressed, but shine like a star. Before Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam could shine like a star, it you have stopped it. So that is like a narrow hook. Or let's say you take the other side of it. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam overcome his struggles and not only he became a successful DRDO scientist, he led India's nuclear missile program. He also became the people's president and thereby becoming one of the shining stars of modern India. In this, shine like a star is actually mentioned and done justice for, but embracing the humility is not there. So it should fit into the entirety of the topic, not just one part, entirety of the topic. And it should be linked well to the topic. It should be properly linked. If there is no link, then there is a tendency that you may go outside the scope of the topic that is given. And remember one, which remember the rule one, what UPSC says. What is the rule one? Candidates are expected to keep closely to the subject of the essay. And one of the purpose of hook is also to convey to the examiner that yes, I have understood the topic beyond any reasonable doubt, Sarji, and I'm going to impress you. And last but not the least, the hook must be unique and interesting. So for the hook to serve as a hook, it should be unique and interesting. Obviously. Because if it's a well-known story or well-known anecdote or a well-known fact, it's not unique or interesting. And obviously, the hook should be concise. Don't beat around the bush. Don't write a mini biography or a large story. Just a mini story will do. And that is how, using all these parameters, you pick a topic and then you choose what sort of hook is going to sit well for that topic and then write. All right. Take down this and then I will take your doubts. So take down introduction. In that subheading, importance of introduction. Introduction in that subheading, importance of introduction. Number one, to convey to the examiner, to convey to the examiner beyond any reasonable doubt, beyond any reasonable doubt that you have understood the topic, that you have understood the topic and interpreted it, understood the topic and interpreted it correctly and broadly. Interpreted it correctly and broadly. Next, second point. To create a strong opening statement, to create a strong opening statement and a strong impact, strong opening statement and a strong impact in the mind of the examiner. In the mind of the examiner. Next, subheading, parts of introduction. Hook, funnel, thesis statement. Hook, funnel, thesis statement. Number one, hook. Number two, funnel. And number three, thesis statement containing the core argument. Thesis statement containing the core argument. Hook, funnel, thesis statement containing the core argument. So take on next subheading. Hook. Hook. To grab the attention of the examiner. Hook. To grab the attention of the examiner and to convey the relevance. Grab the attention of the examiner and to convey the relevance plus right interpretation. And to convey the relevance plus right interpretation. Next, types of hooks. Types of hooks. Number one, anecdotal or mini story hook. Anecdotal or mini story hook. Take on in bracket, most commonly used. Most commonly used. Next, interesting fact or statistic hook. Interesting fact or statistic hook. Interesting fact or statistic hook. Next, interesting question hook. Interesting question hook. Next, comparative hook. Comparative hook. Continue in this, take down the description of comparative hook. Comparison must be done using common sense. Comparison must be done using common sense, underline common sense, between two similar things. Between two similar things across either time or space. Across either time or space. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is do not compare apples to oranges. Okay. Do not compare apple to oranges. Next, quotation hook. Quotation hook should not be quotation hook should not be used for philosophical topics. Should not be used for philosophical topic, as a topic itself is like a quote. As a topic itself is like a quote. Full stop and continue. It can be very well used for technical topics. It can very well be used for technical topics. Let's say artificial intelligence, inclusive growth, democracy, social media. Whenever asked, right? So at that time, you can very well be used for it, for technical topics. It works well. Right? Leave 5 lines for a descriptive hook. Just take down subheading descriptive hook. Leave 5 lines because I'll dictate that later. Leave 5 lines worth of space and then go to the next subheading. How to write a hook. How to write a hook. Subheading. First point. Take down. ensure that the hook is connected to ensure that the hook is connected to entirety of the essay topic, entirety of the essay topic holistically, entirety of the essay topic holistically. Next, hook is linked well with the topic. Hook is linked well with the topic. Explicitly, underline explicitly. Hook is linked well with the topic explicitly. And this is done using, and this is done using keywords. Keywords, either from the topic, either from the topic or related to the topic. Either from the topic or related to the topic. Remember, in yesterday's brainstorming, we generated keywords, right? So I told you two types of keywords, one that fit perfectly to the topic and one that do not fit that perfectly to the topic. So a few of those we have to use in our introduction. The perfectly fitting ones you have to save for the core argument, and few more of them you have to use in the body and one couple in conclusion. Do not overload the hook itself with everything. You have to sprinkle around. The perfect fitting ones, save them for the core argument. If you have more perfect fitting ones, then that also sprinkle across. Sort of fitting ones, again, sprinkle across. All right, so remember that. Next point. Hook must be concisely written. Hook must be concisely written with a maximum of two paragraphs. With a maximum of two paragraphs. In bracket, about 14 lines. In bracket, about 14 lines for standard handwriting. If it is too big of a handwriting, that changes, and too small handwriting, that changes. Standard handwriting, 14 lines. Two paragraphs in bracket, 14 lines. Full stop. Sometimes even one paragraph of an impactful hook. Sometimes one paragraph of impactful hook of about 8 to 10 lines, of about 8 to 10 lines will also suffice, will also suffice. Next point. Hook must be unique and interesting. Hook must be unique and interesting. Okay. So go through this and ask me if you have any doubts. Otherwise, we'll begin with the class exercises on writing the hook. I've told you the techniques. I've told you how I used Rahul Dravid's anecdote in the baseline test as a hook. I've given some cliched examples which should not be used, but for your understanding. So if you have any doubts, ask me. Otherwise, we'll start with the class exercises. Okay, no doubt. Then they have to be lesser known. The more lesser known they are more unique. Okay, so let's. Can it be your own story? Yeah, but it will not be very impactful. Now, as I told you, you have to put a face. If you just write some random thing, let's say there was a person who worked really hard despite the failures, setbacks, and ultimately ended up becoming victorious. Who is this person? This person can be anybody, but you're putting face there, like Kalam or Musk or any XYZ person who sort of succeeded by perseverance in life. So it becomes more relatable. So essay, you have to make it very, very relatable. So keep that in mind. Own story is there, but the examiner will say, who the hell are you? You're not writing your own biography. So my suggestion is don't write your own stories. They are not appreciated. And if at all you have to write your own story, something you have experienced, just make it like a fictional story. Make it like a fictional story. See, it's not about less effective. Whether it is well known or not well known, everything comes down to your style of expression. Now, even a cliched hook, even a cliched hook, if I can write it in a very impactful expression, that can be better than others' unique hook, which is poorly expressed. I'm telling you, even a cliched hook written, because you are the author, you have the power, you have the command, and if you can write it better than the others, the cliched hook or anything, then that will be better than others' uniqueness, which is poorly expressed. So key here is not just to find uniqueness with effective expression. So that word credit will be given for effective and exact expression. So that is something that you have to strive to achieve it. So remember, so in the expertise enhancement classes, we'll work on cliches, how to make them more impactful, because not everything will be unique in your essay. And I'll also teach you techniques how to use cliches and convey to the examiner ki I know these cliches, but I'm going to use something better, and so that I can rub this on the face of my competitors. That we will do in the expertise enhancement classes. And regarding expertise enhancement classes, so generally, so far till last year, whatever the essay I have done, I used to start off with the 4 skill enhancement classes where we work on your basic skills like we are working now, and then give a month's gap for you to develop these skills, and then bring in the expertise enhancement classes. And this year, since the time was less, I announced them together. And I was speaking to some of my mentees who have topped, and they were telling, like, if I don't give you sufficient time for working on the basics and whatever we have worked, implement that, the expertise enhancement might not make too much sense. And also, given the fact that the expertise enhancement will be a little bit advanced, if done together, it may actually confuse you people, like, what to do, what not to do. So I'm thinking, still not confirmed the decision of moving the 3 expertise enhancement classes to July. I will let you know by tomorrow whether to do it together. Let me think over it. Let me simmer over it, brainstorm over it, and then I'll get back. But if we are moving expertise enhancement classes to July, that means the first test will be preponed. Okay, so brace yourself. Okay, whatever was on 21st, I can give you 1 day, 1 day after the skill enhancement session is done. So we have another 2 more sessions to go after this, and I can give you 1 more day, and then I'll prepone the tests. What's the point of waiting till 21st? We'll start. Anyways, full length tests are flexible, so you write it, but the earlier you write, the better it is. Okay, so I'll take a final call on that by tomorrow. For 26, You don't worry यार, तुम्हारे पास तो टाइम ही टाइम है, डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट. For you people, I can do it again also, not a problem. And for you people, we will work more. For those appearing for 2026, we will work more of the exercises that we are doing because we have time. For the mains batch, they don't have too much time. So we have to keep at it. We have to keep at a rapid pace. We have to keep doing that. For you, since your tests, I have given you a little flexibility to start little later. So till that time, we will do more exercises so that you get better and better at it, right? So we will connect like this over Google Meet, and then we'll keep on doing those exercises because we have time. We can effectively utilize time, and once you have that, then we can actually start your test. And once you have a little bit hold on the test, then I can conduct expertise for you. That's not an issue, but I'm talking about those appearing for mains. So I think that's okay. Let's decide it. Let's push those expertise enhancement for mains appearing people to July dates. I'll announce based on the test dates. And then that means your first test should be on today's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. First test will be on Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday. Tuesday, I'll give you as a buffer to revise and everything. First test one of SH for those appearing for mains 2025 will be on Wednesday. Okay, last Wednesday result came. This Wednesday, you will be writing your first SH test. So, okay, done, decided. Okay, so yeah, this part is done. Okay, doubts are done. So let's start with the class exercises. And in the class exercises, this is the first topic which we sort of discussed yesterday. We'll start off with the easy one, right? So then we'll gradually build up. This will be the philosophical topic. Then we'll do for one technical topic, and then we'll come back for a philosophical topic. I'll give 4 minutes. Take a 4 minutes. Sorry, 5 minutes to start off with. Write a hook. Okay, write a hook. And here, since you'll be writing, so for connecting, just take a picture of that, or you can unmute yourself and read your hook. So it's a Google Meet, right? So unmute yourself and read a hook. We'll read a couple of hooks. So time starts now. 5 minutes. Good hook. Apart from quotation based hook, because here it doesn't make sense. Any hook you write, and you will write within 5 minutes. Right? Well, voice is fine. Others, can you just confirm if the voice is fine? Yeah, I don't think there is any issue at my end because my office is like good enough for everything. So yes, timer started. Yeah, go on. And those who are done, raise your hands so that I can call out your names. We'll read a couple of them, and I want all of you to participate so that those who read for the first set, then we'll give opportunities for somebody else in the next set. I don't want just those two, three people to keep on repeating. I want all of you to participate. That is the beauty of this class exercises, where collectively we can learn. Okay, so go on, right? Last 1 minute. Come on, finish it and raise your hand. I'll call out your names. Abhinav, we can start. Let others keep writing. Last 20 seconds. Come on.
When non-cooperation movement was going on in 1921-22, Mahatma Gandhi, to everyone's surprise, decided to call off the movement. Many leaders, including Subhash Chandra Bose, were dissatisfied with his decision. However, he stood firm and said, masses are not ready for these movements yet. He could very well foresee that British will suppress it brutally in the name of violence and law and order. Law and order breakdown. He repaired the roof when sun was shining.
Now, Abhinav used non-cooperation movement. So these are the parameters that I gave, right? While I was giving you notes. So let's see how many parameters he has met. So connection to the topic, yes, somewhat it is there. Linked well to the topic, definitely. Is it concise? To a large extent. Is it unique? It's not. So that means it's an average hook. Gaurav, kindly unmute yourself and read. And after you're done, mute yourself back.
Yes. At the end of 1990s era, the IT sector was shining at its peak, and India was on the verge of economic crisis. And it was the time to repair, and it was the LPG reforms that made India to bring back its glory. That's all.
Okay. So connection to the topic is very vague. Link also vague. Concise definitely. And unique no. So not that a great hook. Pranjal?
Yes, sir. So China was the most populous country in the world in late 20th century. It was difficult to imagine how it will provide for its citizens, let alone compete at global level. But with brilliant national planning, it worked on education sector reforms, manufacturing and supply chain to emerge as second largest economy. It repaired the roof when sun was not shining. Was shining.
Okay. So connection to the topic is there. Link is there. Concise is there. Unique. Okay. ठीक है. मतलब not too unique, not too cliched. So above average hook. Amog?
Yes, sir. Mongol threat is imminent. Alauddin Khilji has dispatched his troops to conquer coastlines of Maharashtra and Gujarat to secure a safe passage for his horses. He knew Mongol army would rain on his roof of army. He wanted his troops to be better equipped with horses, which was a sine qua non to face the Mongols. He had repaired the roof when the sun was still shining.
Okay. Connection to the topic is like, again, not that strong. Linked, yes. Concise, yes. Unique, like, okay. This thing. So we'll read one more, and after that, others will get a chance in the next one. Okay, we'll go with Ritik.
Sir, during the time of 2011, Japan was struck by a mega earthquake. The disaster shook the nation and took thousands of lives and destroyed many critical infrastructure. After the disaster, Japan took many steps like building a tsunami wall or making the buildings earthquake resistant. Thus, it is often said that the time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. As Japan, if would have repaired the roof when the sun was shining, it would have prevented such a mega earthquake.
Okay, so I would not suggest to take a sort of a negative part where you are negating the topic and then proving that topic is right. So avoid that. It will cause a lot of confusion. So All those things are there, uniqueness and everything, but it's a negative one. You can avoid that. All right. So
Okay, sir.
yeah. Okay, we'll go for the next one. We'll go for a technical topic. All right. So 5 minutes again. Here we go. The destiny of a nation is shaped in its classroom. Last 2 minutes. Last 30 seconds, and if anybody is done, can raise their hands. And preferably, we'll give opportunity to those who could not read in the first instance. I want a collective participation. And don't hesitate. If you're right or wrong, what's the best that can happen is what's the worst that can happen here is we'll get good feedback. Okay, so don't be hesitate. Like, if I don't write well, what will happen? Leave all inhibitions. Here, everybody is here for learning. Nobody is here for judging. Okay, so relax, chill. Vinod.
Sir. Once Renaissance began in Europe, place was made for new scientific thoughts by inculcating the questioning and scientific analysis of things in the education system. Understanding the nature scientifically and rationally was encouraged in the classrooms, which eventually led to technological innovations and then to the Industrial Revolution, which shifted the power from east to the western countries.
Okay, so this is a decent one, but there are some logical fallacies in this. So Renaissance is a 14th century event, and there was no concept of nation states in 14th century. Okay, and even probably you misunderstood 18th century Enlightenment with Renaissance. Okay,
Yes.
and that time nation states, still time is there for the nation states to be formed, or there's just about taking this thing. So logically it doesn't make much sense. Raghuram.
Late Kamraj, who brought up the scheme of midday meal as reason in the conversation he had with the boy, who questioned him about who will offer him food if he stopped doing the job. Kamraj, who very well knew that bringing the children to the classroom will help in shaping a nation destiny, and eventually this scheme is brought all over the country, which knew that destiny of a nation is shaped in its classroom.
Okay, now the thing here is this nation part is addressed, classroom part is addressed, but the impact, the consequences, how was destiny, what happened, did the kid do something, that part is not addressed. So it's a narrow hook. So entirety of the topic has to be addressed. Okay, so next we will go with Bhavya. Yes, Vishal, you can write here also, no problem, but it'll take too much time.
So can I begin?
Yeah, go ahead.
I have given a rough date, but I'm not sure about this.
Don't worry.
It's okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 27 September 2023, Sunny Hook, USA. The Sunny Hook school saw a massive shooting incident. The culprit was a teenager who was out for revenge. He mercilessly shot at his classmates and teachers, resulting in a death toll of 17. This reflects the destiny of USA today. Once a land of dream, but now a land that's not safe unless one carry a gun with them. Come to Finland, where from kindergarten kids are taught life lessons. Growing up, they are imbibed with values of secularism, equality, etc. This made Finland #1 in World Happiness Index.
Actually, it's a very good comparative hook. Okay, it's linked to the destiny, it's linked to nation, it links to classrooms, and it's unique. Well done, Bhavya. We will read one more. Mainte. Mainte. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Mainte, you are there on the call?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, now you are. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. During the uncertainties and constant warfare during the era of Nanda Empire, a silent revolution was being developed not on battlefield but in the classroom of Takshila. The teacher was training a student to dethrone the mighty Nandas. This teacher-student duo not only dethroned the mighty Nandas but later went on to establish the first large single empire in the history of India. This clearly showed that the classroom was no ordinary classroom, but somewhere where statecraft, strategy, and nation building was taught. Therefore, whether to forge empires or to shape democracy. It is education, not arms, that scripts the future of the nation.
So, Vante, am I getting your name right?
Yes, sir, Vente.
Vante. So the thing here is very impactfully written, but that part of nation, because remember, this is not a philosophical topic, this is a technical topic. So in technical topic, you have to be specific. You have to keep it to the nation. Somewhere in the body, you can go little bit experimental. But remember, introduction, you have to also convey to the fact, along with being unique, that you have understood the topic. So that will using an ancient Indian example will not work. All right.
Sure.
So
Sure, sir, got it.
yeah. Okay. Others you will get a chance in the next one. Okay. Ritik, yours is fine. Okay, no problem. Shilp, good. Okay, good descriptive hook. Mandeep, decent enough, above average. Vishal, same issue. You have to use modern examples because it's a technical topic. You have to be specific. All right. Now, these two are previous year topics. Let's go for a novel topic, which because we discussed the time to repair the roof yesterday only. So let's go for a novel topic. I'll give you 5 minutes again. Okay. And let's see how you do when it's a novel topic, which probably you will be hearing it for the first time. Okay. Let's go. Time
So I
start.
have a question with respect to the earlier one. Can I ask
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Let me just okay, fine. Go ahead.
So the question is, what if we use a negative example in such a this thing? What if we use the example of Nazi Germany, where the textbooks were changed and the students were indoctrinated? What kind of impact would that have?
See, that I always tell you to use it in body. If you are using negative, at least use a comparative hook, vis-a-vis, so that it balances it out. Actually, we Indians believe in Shubharam, right? So even if you're using negative, use it in contrast with the some positive, like comparative manner. Directly don't start with the negative hook. The Nazi and all, you can use it in the body very well. All right. So let's go. A single candle can both defy and define darkness. 5 minutes, time starts now. Debarshi, if you're done, you can start reading. Debarshi, if you're done, you can start reading. Debarshi? Ankita, if you're done, you can start reading.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
In the rugged Swat Valley of Pakistan, where peaks of Hindu Kush stretch towards the heaven, on a fateful day of 2012, a deadliest and eye-opener incident happened. A teenager of age 13 years was shot at the point-blank range, bullet piercing her head and neck. The world held its breath when Malala stood up for education against the terrorists as a single candle to light up the education spirit of our nation. But this scandal not only defied the darkness, it also defined it more finely that how there are places where wars are being carried out against bare human right of education.
Beautiful. Okay. Here, all the three parts: single candle, defy, define. All the three are done. And I can no others will read. And the major issue is everybody will focus on defy, and very few people will focus on define. All right. Kaushik, can you read yours?
Sure, sir. Usha Mehta, inspired by Gandhi's ideology and her indomitable will to contribute to India's Quit India movement, led her to start the secret Congress radio to keep the Indians informed about the vital developments of the struggle. So she not only defied, but also defied the darkness of that time.
So defy part, okay, fine. How did she define? Like in Ankita's one, the definition of like how did Malala's act was it defining the darkness was quite clear. But you have written, okay, but it does not is connecting. So what is the definition of darkness with respect to Usha Mehta? Like how did she define that darkness?
I mean, sir, keeping the Indians informed about the struggle was a struggle in itself also. Like the Britishers wanted and that should not happen. So she went underground to make that possible. So it was a very novel step in that regard.
So you should write that. You should write that. So
Okay, okay.
I can only give you marks for writing. We cannot give you marks for thinking.
So that
yeah,
this anecdote is correct, but
cliched but connect.
okay. Thank you, sir.
But narrow. Okay. Debarshi?
Sir, on the night of November 26, 208, as gunshot echoed through the corridors of Mumbai Taj Hotel, a young hotel staff named Arun bravely guided the terrified guest through the dark, smoke-filled service passage. Power has been cut, chaos was rampant, and the only light they had was from the single emergency candle he carried in his trembling hand. That small flame became more than just a source of light. It became a symbol of calm in the storm of courage in the face of terror. Arun could have run to save himself, but instead he chose to work toward danger to lead others to safety. Nearly 24 of people survived that night because of one person refused to let fear snuff out of his sense of duty.
Beautiful. Okay, it's a very well written hook. It's relevant. It defines the every aspect. It defines it defies, and it's linked to the topic very well. It's unique. The only issue here is थोड़ा लंबा हो गया लगता है, right? How many lines is this?
Hello?
Hello, how many lines is this in your?
Sir, it becomes two paragraphs. I have no line is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 lines, sir.
Oh, this was just 6 lines.
Yes, sir. 6 lines.
Whatever you just read.
Hello?
Okay. Yeah, whatever you just read is just 6 lines.
Yes, sir. Only 6 lines.
Okay, then it is concise also. Okay. All right. Next, XYZ Garena 8. I don't know your name, but I will ask you.
Sir, Mrinal this side.
Oh, Mrinal. Okay. Yeah, Mrinal. Hi. Yeah, go ahead.
It's 1517. There is dark age in Europe. Everybody follows the church blindly, and every sphere of life is commanded by religion. One day, a German monk named Martin Luther lights a candle of long list of 95 wrong interpretations that church has made in the Bible, aiming to defy the darkness of ignorance people of Europe were in, as well as to define the darkness of deliberate misinterpretation of the Bible by the church to suit its political convenience, thereby ushering an era of renaissance in Europe.
Okay, all right. This is a well written hook. Okay, both defy and define have been written. Unique, not very much, but still well written hook here. Okay, so others will give a chance in the next one. Okay, so I'll give you a chance in the next one. So what we are going to do here is, now we are going to do a spot exercise. Okay, I'll be in the channel. Okay, I'll be sharing one of the question paper from last year's essay test series. Okay, and you have to, there'll be four topics in section A and four topics in section B. Okay, so you have to do whatever we have learned so far. You have to implement, that is from choice of, like, how to choose the topic, and mini brainstorming you have to do, like interpret the topic, keywords, and then write a hook for both section A, also section B. And I'll give you 12 minutes for that. Okay, so just sharing, and once I have shared your time, I'll begin the timer. Just give me a moment. Okay. Okay, I've shared it. The question paper, I have shared it. Your time starts now. 12 minutes, right? So 12 minutes. Pick that one topic, philosophical from section A, one technical from section B. Write two good hooks. All right, all the best. 6 minutes done, last 6 minutes. That means section A or one section should be done by now. Come on, keep mind, be mindful of the time. All right, time up. Stop writing. I gave you 15 seconds extra. Time up. All right. So I'm going to lower all the hands. We're going to go topic wise. Okay, we're going to go topic wise. So section A, topic 1. Please raise your hands. Whoever has written section A, topic 1. All of you who have written section A, topic 1. Of geniuses, live and die. That one. Only Amog? Okay. All right, Amog, can you just read?
Yes, sir. It starts with a quote saying, "The problem of humankind is that fools and fanatics are confident about themselves, whereas geniuses are full of doubts." The quote symbolizes the futility of geniuses when one fails to recognize his own ability. Things get worse when he fails to get discovered by others as well. All that geniuses need to do is detect their ability and courageously use it for collective good, so that he is not only discovered by others but also serve other in during this transitionary stay on earth.
Okay. So I have told you, do not. Otherwise, this is a decent hook, but the fact is, do not quote the quote. Okay. It creates conflict or confusion. Yeah. Yeah. The second topic. Second topic. Who has written? Please raise your hands. The owl of Minerva begins its flights only with the coming of the dusk. Nobody. Or are you scared? Are you scared of reading it, or are you scared that this kind of topics I'll make you write in the test? Okay, third topic. We learn from history that we do not learn from history. Ajay. Okay, Ajay is in library. It's okay. Simran.
Yes, sir. Pakistan, a terror sponsoring state, have always supported terrorism, be it Mumbai attack or 9/11 attack. And every time it has faced humiliation from global community. But till today, it does not stop its agenda of terrorism, as evident from Pahalgam attack. It has become a pastime for Pakistan to do such inhumane act, face defeat, and repeat it again. This shows how Pakistan has never learned from its history.
Perfect. Right. She linked it to the recent attacks, and I have told you, when you link it to recent events, which when others will not, this will become a very impactful hook, and it's very holistic. Okay. So topic, I'll lower everybody's hands, and then we'll go for topic number 4. A truly great man does not seek to lead; he is summoned to it by purpose and circumstance. Akash.
Yes, sir. Abraham Lincoln was initially sought to be a lawyer and a politician, but the Civil War thrust him into the role of a wartime president, where he ultimately led the nation to victory and abolished slavery. His leadership during this period was not pre-planned ambition, but a response to a nation's crisis.
Okay. Decent enough. Harsh.
Hello, sir. It's Harsha Malvi.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
On June 7th, 1893, a young barrister traveling in first class was thrown out at Pietermaritzburg railway station in South Africa because he refused to move to lower class compartment asked by his fellow white traveler. This particular incident of racial discrimination summoned Gandhiji to begin his fight against racial injustice in South Africa and India, ultimately leading the path of India's independence.
Okay. Decent enough, but cliched, Harsha. Okay. So, yes. Okay. Let me go to the hands. Sindhu, I have seen that. Okay. It's a cliched one. And Shilp, I'm seeing yours. Just a moment. Again, cliched one. Okay. But decent. Okay. Again, I'm lowering your hands.
Sir, I
And
just hello. Sir, I just wanted to confirm that, sir, I used MS Dhoni example here. Is it good enough for the 2007 T20 World Cup?
It's okay, man. Nobody bothers about one failure. It's very relevant. Don't worry. All right, let's go for the section B. Technical topics. Okay. Yeah. Who wrote One Nation, One Election? Okay. Okay. Only two of you. Abhinav, go again.
There has been a rising demand for simultaneous elections in the present time, popularly known as One Nation, One Election. Ramnath Kovind panel had been made for the same and it has submitted its report. While it poses many questions before us, the major debate revolve around if one nation, one election is a path to governance efficiency or a threat to federalism.
Okay. Fine. Decent one. Topics are shared in the channel, Debarshi. Okay. Topics are shared. All the 8 are shared in the channel. Okay. Next topic. India as a space power from exploration to strategic dominance. Okay. Ritik.
It was during the time of 1960s. Indian scientists carried the parts of a rocket on a bicycle and launched their first ever space rocket. These are the times when resources were limited and India was exploring its path to space. Fast forwarding to 2025, India has become the 5th country to reach the moon and it's planning its Axiom mission to send its second person in the history to space, charting its path to space dominance.
Okay, the thing is, India is not sending, he is going via NASA, that part, but I appreciate what you try to do. It's a well written hook, but strategic dominance could be written better. Anukriti?
Yes, sir. India joined Artemis mission, Artemis Accord in 2023. It was invited way before that, but we failed Chandrayaan-2. We waited later on. When Chandrayaan-3 was successful, days after that, we joined Artemis mission. But now, as a leader of the moon mission, hence we started as an explorator of moon, but today we stand at a powerful position and we are strategically dominating the arena.
All right, a good enough hook. All right, we'll go for the next topic here. Sports as a tool for diplomacy and nation building, India's aspirations post Paris Olympics. And nobody wrote this. It was actually an interesting topic. Sure, nobody wrote. Okay, then we'll go green growth and the Indian economy. Challenges of a sustainable transition. Kashish.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, Kashish.
Yes, sir. It starts with what if Rome was built in a day, and that too present day? An empire quite large with people, plans, and purpose. For sure, quite urbanized, planned, and smart and green it would be. But Rome wouldn't still be as populous as present day India and as huge as Indian economy, where actual challenge is to sustain and transition a nation with the balance between both mangroves and money, economy and environment, and a transition which must be smooth yet affordable for India not to fall like another Rome.
Okay. I really like the analogy. I really like the word play. But the only issue with this is green growth is more of a modern concept. But I appreciate the analogy. But the thing here is, it's a little risky thing if the examiner does not appreciate the analogy. Apart from that, very well written. Neha?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Neha, go ahead.
The idea of new transshipment port in Galathea Bay of Nicobar Islands has sparked the debate on development versus conservation, which has become a constant theme of discussion in most of the developing countries. Amidst all such chaos, India has managed to achieve its NDCs and remain the 5th largest economy. These 2 points reflects the green growth and the challenges of sustainable transition in a country like India.
All right, decent. Okay. So good job, Kaushik.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, Kaushik, go ahead.
Uh, Two goals India has currently have. One is to become developed by 2047. Another one is becoming net zero by 2070. Though years apart, but being very deep. Green growth and India's uh, economy is a great challenge lies ahead. Recent RBI reports shows that to achieve economic goal, it must clock around 8 to 9% growth rate yearly. But also to achieve net zero, it needs substantial investment in renewable energy and climate tech, which may hamper around 1 to 2% growth. Thus, there's the need for a balanced approach, how it needs to be calibrated in our policy making to achieve both goals in simultaneously.
Okay, it's a well written hook. Okay, so see here, if you observe, doing justice to technical topics is very easy. You just have to not even put an effort. But doing justice to philosophical topic, you have to be very careful. Now you realize why marks in your essay paper are reducing. It's primarily it's not easy to do justice to a philosophical topic. All right, that marks the end of hook. And if you have any doubts, ask me. Otherwise, I'll teach you the worst case scenario, descriptive hook. Or just tell about it. That's the worst case scenario. Hmm. The interpretation very simple. Learning from like we learn from history that we do not learn from mistakes. We keep on repeating our mistakes. That's all. The same. It's very similar to that part. Yes, असली मजा philosophical essay में ही है, right? You know, technical essay कोई भी बैठ करके लिख सकता है. Like thinking, doing justice, being innovative. That is a true test of your skills there. Okay, so let's move on. Oh, you want me to explain the second topic, the flight of Minerva 1, right? Let me just read the topic. One sec. The owl of Minerva begins its flight only with the coming of the dusk. Yeah, now there's a chance that this kind of topic may come. So I'll not just tell you the meaning, I'll tell you how to sort of decipher that. Now the thing here is probably you have no idea what is owl of Minerva. Even I don't have much idea what is owl of Minerva until I did some digging. But the part is just forget owl of Minerva. Owl begins its flight only with the coming of the dusk. So what it is saying here is the critical word here is dusk. If you see other birds, right? It can be eagle or pigeon or crow. Dawn, okay, subah, sunrise. But whereas owl of Minerva begins its flight only with the coming of dusk. So as you know, owl is a nocturnal animal. Yeah, to common knowledge. Hai. Only with the coming of dusk. That means some people are very different and counterintuitive than the norm. Some people take off, some people win, some people achieve success, some people realize, some people achieve their true potential in unconventional ways, in ways others might not have done it. And that is precisely this quote. Forget about Owl of Minerva. Just try and relate. But if you're not sure, then don't tempt the fate. Okay? Let's go to the next slide. It's wrong. Yeah, the next part of the essay here is the funnel. Not very important. Okay, this is not at all very important. I'll just tell you the things that you have to worry about here. So the hook is your attention getter, and the thesis statement I'll call it core argument because core argument is the important part of thesis. Is a specific part where you go. The hook that you use is quite broad within the scope of the topic, but quite broad. You're telling probably a story or anecdote or some description. Oh, sorry. I forgot the descriptive hook, right? Okay. Anyways, I've started funnel. It will take just 5 minutes. After that, I'll dictate both together. All right. So bear with me. So then the hook is a broad, it's a story, it's an anecdote. And core argument is specific, refined, specific and refined. So the transition from hook to the thesis, where you're narrowing down to the topic, it is called as a funnel. This technique is called as a funnel. Funnel means you pour the liquid from the broad center and it goes specific. Na? So that is the purpose of funnel, and this is called as a funnel. Now, how do you write a funnel? First of all, you don't. So there are two situations when you write a funnel. So two situations when you write a funnel. The first situation, let's say you wrote hook, one paragraph or two paragraphs of hook, आपने लिख दिया है. And let's say you glance the hook and then you are getting a doubt or you are unsure or you feel that the link to the topic or the interpretation of the topic आपने शायद बहुत नैरो कर दिया या शायद one part of the essay or some part of the topic miss हो गया है. So that time funnel is like a plan B there. So when you feel that you may have not done proper interpretation or not explained the proper interpretation in the core of the hook or in the anecdote that you have used or something, that's where the funnel comes. And what is the funnel? Yesterday what we did the exercise, right? The interpretation of the topic in one sentence. That exactly is a good funnel. There are various ways of writing funnel, but for UPSC CSE, interpretation of the topic is the perfect funnel. So in just one statement, you write the interpretation of the topic. If you are not sure if the hook is doing that. So it serves like a plan B. And remember, it has to be just one sentence. You don't have to over elaborate because time nahi hai and also space nahi hai. Introduction bahut lamba ho jayega. So that is the funnel. It serves like a transition. And also, second time, like, where you have to use a funnel is, let's say the topic is very complicated. Like reality does not conform to the ideal, but confirms it. Topic is difficult. Topic is hard to comprehend. Then don't take a risk. Definitely write a funnel. Because irrespective of how good or not good the hook is, if you write it when the topic is complicated, it will sort of take care of it. So these are the two situations where you have to write hook, and two situations where you should not, where you have written a good hook where everything is covered, where you're satisfied and the topic is easy. Don't write. If the topic is easy, very simple, like no need to decipher or no need to comprehend, don't write. So the paragraph of the core argument generally begins with the funnel. And when we come to core argument in a while, you will see that there is a lot of similarity between funnel and core argument, like overlap rahega. Both purposes are different, but little overlap. So that's why I'm telling, if it's a difficult topic, you write it. And if you have think that you have not done justice to the topic or not interpreted the topic properly in the hook, then you write it as a fail safe. Still examiner को बोल रहा हूँ ठीक है, हाँ उसमें समझ नहीं आएगा, but ये sentence पढ़ के समझ आएगा कि मुझे समझ में आ गया है, right? So these two, that is about the funnel. And yesterday what we did, the interpretation of the topic. That is a good way. There are a lot of ways of writing a funnel, but this is a good way. Okay, so take down funnel. Funnel. It is used to transition. It is used to transition from the introduction. It is used to transition from the introduction to the core argument. To the core argument of the thesis. Of the thesis. To ensure proper coherence. To ensure proper coherence. Take a subheading. Use funnel in the following scenarios. Use funnel for the following scenario. In the following scenarios. Number 1. When philosophical topic is very complicated to understand. When philosophical topic is too complicated to understand. Number 2. After writing the hook, after writing the hook, you are not satisfied. You are not satisfied that you have done justice. That you have done justice in conveying relevance. In conveying relevance, even for a simple topic. In conveying relevance, even for a simple topic. Put a subheading. When not to write a funnel. When not to write a funnel. Next, first one, easy philosophical topic with well-written and holistic hook. Easy philosophical topic with well-written and holistic hook. Number 2, technical topics. Technical topics or subject-wise topics. Technical or subject-wise topic. Okay. Go back to the descriptive hook part. So this is the worst case scenario. क्या करना है? समझो, you're doing brainstorming, but you're not sure what to start with. No ideas are coming and time is running out, and you have to start writing. So your worst case scenario, the savior would be the descriptive hook. So this description hook is very simple. You start describing. Okay, you start describing the topic as impactfully as possible, right? And trying to capture the attention of the examiner. So you have to be just describing the topic. For example, this one, a single candle can define darkness. So you have to start explaining how it defies the darkness and defines the darkness. You start describing it. Or if it's a technical topic, let's say if it's about artificial intelligence, you give the definition of artificial intelligence and context of artificial intelligence. So for technical topics, you can go for definition and context. For philosophical topics, you can describe them as effectively as possible. So in the expertise enhancement sessions, I will also teach you how to use this description hook better than anecdotal hook in some scenarios, not in all scenarios, but that will be in expertise enhancement. And also we will try and merge hooks, so to make it more impactful. And that is one reason I'm precisely I shifted the expertise enhancement to next month, because if you have not at all used or very limitedly used in single anecdotal hook, single description hook, or quotation hook in solo, that itself you have not used. And if I am teaching you, let's say, merger or remixing both, then probably that may confuse you, and that may be counterproductive. And I'm going to stick to the original approach, what works. Actually, it is my one of my philosophies of life is, what is working, do not change. I don't know why I sort of merged both. Probably because less time was there. But let's stick to the approach. We'll learn the basics, write a few tests, and then go for the advanced, and then write a few tests. So that's how it has worked, and let's continue doing that. Right. So that is the description hook. Take down descriptive hook or description hook. To be written in the worst case scenario. To be written in the worst case scenario. Continue. For a philosophical topic, you can explain the meaning of the quote. For a philosophical topic, you can explain the meaning of the quote as impactfully as possible. As impactfully as possible. For a technical topic, define the topic. Define the topic, or give the context of the topic. Define the topic, or give the context of the topic impactfully. See, remember, this is the worst case scenario. That is the precise reason I did not tell you at the outset, because if you form the habit of using the worst case scenario, then again it's very difficult for me to break it down. Okay, so any doubts till now? Otherwise, we'll proceed to the next aspect of the introduction, the final aspect of the introduction, that's the thesis statement. Okay, let's go with the thesis statement. Funnel for a complex philosophical topic, I told you, the interpretation of the topic that we did yesterday. I did not get your question, Mrinal. Side characters of an essay means? I'm not getting your doubt. We'll resolve this later. Okay, so this is statement. Practically very important part of the essay. So after this point, okay, after this point with respect to the thesis statement, we'll refer to it more as core argument, because thesis is more broader, core argument is more specific and more important. Now, how does an essay without a thesis statement feel? It's like just random gibberish brought together without any sort of anchor to hold on to that. So if you have seen Three Idiots, you remember the scene? Random stuff. Very, very random stuff merged together, but it doesn't have an anchor to hold on, something to hold on to, or something to be explained to, something that can actually make a meaningful difference. And whenever you write a whenever you don't write a core argument, if at all, the examiner wants to know what is your opinion on the topic, what is your stand on the topic, whether you agree with the topic, whether you disagree with the topic, or you partly agree, partly disagree, you're neutral. So it becomes very difficult to do so, because you have not written the core argument. Because in your core argument is exactly that you give opinion with respect to the topic. And after reading, because remember, in the body, you're going to take multiple dimensions. You go for analysis, you go for arguments, you go for additional dimensions, you go for counter arguments. So what is your stand on the topic? And that precisely is your core argument. And if you don't write the core argument, after reading your entire essay, the examiner is not clear about your stand on the topic, and he will be simply like, "Arey, कहना क्या चाहते हो? What exactly do you want to tell?" There are so many dimensions, but what is your basic fundamental philosophy with respect to the topic? What is the principal argument? What is your principal stand? What is your foundation that you have built these arguments on? Because your core argument is the fundamental or the primary argument, and whatever you write in the body, additional arguments or analysis or counter arguments, you build from the core argument. You build from the core argument. And ensure that when you're building your house, your foundation should be strong. If your core argument is strong, all the derivatives of it, the further arguments, counter arguments, additional arguments, analysis, or even description will be strong. And also, if your core argument is specific and strong, the chances of you going outside the scope of the essay are very, 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 very minimal. So that is why a core argument has to be written. But there is fundamental misunderstanding with respect to the core argument in the market, I've seen. So what is that? We will now study. So many people think thesis or thesis statement means the purpose of the essay. I don't know, God knows which genius made that, and people still don't know that thesis means there is core argument, there is purpose of the essay. So basically, there are two parts to a thesis statement. One is core argument, which conveys the point of view of the author. This is the first part, and then the purpose of the essay. And the first part is like the heart of the essay, and second part is like the appendix. You can live without your appendix. Even if appendix is there, there is hardly any difference to your body, but you certainly cannot live without your heart. So core argument is the heart of the essay, and everybody starts writing the purpose of the essay. Purpose of the essay means that in this essay, we will do this, we will do that, we will see this, we will see that, and then we'll end like this. It's nothing but a index or a broad structuring of the essay. Absolutely makes zero sense. But core argument is the primary argument, your point of view of the author. And many people think thesis means purpose of the essay. But actually, thesis does not mean the purpose of the essay. Thesis contains core argument, which is the heart of the essay, and also purpose of the essay. Core argument has to be written compulsorily. Purpose of the essay is optional. My suggestion is don't write, or just write it in two or three words. I'll tell you how. Okay, just write it in 2 or 3 words. So core argument is very important. You take a stand there, and then you build your essay. Now, moving to that, how do you write a core argument? So let's study. I'll give the notes. Okay, so from here, so don't worry. First, let me teach you how to write a core argument, and then what are the things to avoid in a core argument, and then I'll dictate. So let's see how to develop your core argument. First, interpret the topic broadly, holistically. Not just one part of the topic, holistically. That has to be there. Introduction has to be holistic. The next thing is here you have to take a balanced opinion. Now, let's say if you're doing a research article, you're doing a debate, you're blogging, you're writing a newspaper article, then you can take one side for the topic or against the topic. But here, it's better to take a balanced opinion because it increases the number of dimensions in the body if you take a balanced opinion for the topic as well as against the topic. And it has to be concise, right? Candidates are expected to be concise, and it has to be impactful. And it has to be impactful. So first, it has to be holistic. Second, as balanced as possible. And next, it has to be concise and impactful. Clear? These are the things that are needed. 1, 2, and 3 are the things that are needed to write a core argument. Let's see how to write. There is a formula. Okay, I've turned this into a mathematical equation, though I hate maths. Synthesis is equal to thesis in support plus antithesis in opposition. So this is the formula. Synthesis means core argument. So synthesis is thesis in support and antithesis in opposition. Now, how I'll take an example and I will explain it to you. First, you have to go to the brainstorming sheet. Remember, I told you you need to draft a rough core argument in the brainstorming sheet. Go to the core brainstorming sheet. Open the brainstorming sheet, and the first is the key interpretation of the topic you have done. And remember the key words that we have been using. You have to go for the perfectly fitting keywords. You have to go for the perfectly fitting keywords. Choose them. Not too many. You may have 2 to 3, that's fine. But anything more than 3 is a crowd. Right? So perfectly fitting, you may have 7, 10. I don't mind. But if you have, then use it in the body, in the conclusion. But 2 to 3 most impactful ones you have to take. Right? So you chose those keywords. And then remember the nature of topic we had seen. Partly analytical, partly argumentative, wholly analytical, wholly argumentative. The thing here is, to make it balanced, it needs to have some sort of argumentative nature, which is there in 90% of the topics. 10% of the topics are completely descriptive or analytical. There you cannot sort of develop any counter arguments or even additional arguments. So balance is not just about counter arguments, it can also be additional arguments. So 90% of the topic yesterday when we classified, like partly analytical or largely analytical, little argumentative. even if it's 20% argumentative, we can still have a balanced opinion. I'm just telling you, 90% of the topic, you can make it very balanced. So see the nature of the topic. That's why nature of the topic is important. Along with how to generate the body, even it helps in the core argument. If it's argumentative, then 50-50. If it's partly analytical, partly argumentative, then still you can go for 60-40 or 50-50. If it's largely analytical, very little argumentative, you can go for 80% towards the topic and just few, like probably half a sentence antithesis against the topic. Now, I'll take an example and I will explain. We'll take the one which we just did. A single candle can defy and define darkness. Okay, so how do I synthesize my core argument? So thesis in support. Now, quickly tell me, spam me with the keywords that perfectly fit for this topic. Perfectly fit for this topic. Spam me quickly. Ignorance, no, it's not a perfect fit. Integrity, leadership, duality, enlightenment, courage. Okay, courage is one thing I'll take. Okay. Enlightenment I'll take. Still not getting one more. Come on. Inspiration I will take. Okay, so inspirations. I got my 3 perfectly fitting words. Courage, enlightenment, and inspiration. So I start. Using this, I develop my thesis in support. So a single person, a single entity with courage can enlighten thousands and millions and inspire them to be better even in the darkest of times. So this is my thesis in support. Here, a single person, a single entity with courage can enlighten thousands, millions, and inspire them to be better even in the darkest of times, most difficult of circumstances, darkest of times, most difficult of circumstances, or even in the times of adversities. Then comes my antithesis. However, because you can very well argue for this topic, a single person has their inherent limitations, where even the brightest of them fail to illuminate for long. So even the brightest of them fail to illuminate for long because it's a single candle. And also in antithesis, I'm bringing an additional dimension here. So I'm bringing an additional dimension where, however, a single candle may fail to remain illuminated for long, and thus requiring multiple candles or many candles to bring a long-lasting change. That is the additional dimension I'm including in my antithesis. I countered it because this is largely analytical and partly argumentative. So I brought in the counter argument and I'm bringing the additional dimension. Got it? So synthesis is thesis in support. I use those keywords that you gave me. Antithesis. Enlighten is defined. Inspire is defined. Courage is defy. This is defy. These two are defined. Yes, after hook, the third paragraph. If you write one paragraph of hook, second paragraph should be your Second paragraph should be your core argument. If you write 2 paragraphs of hook, third paragraph has to be your core argument. 3 paragraphs, your introduction is done and dusted. 2 to 3 paragraphs, 1.5 pages. That's it. Ask if you have any doubts, then I'll dictate it. And that will be all for today. The exercises will do tomorrow. Yeah. Any doubts? No. Oh, sorry. Wait, I haven't told you what not to do in the hook. First, in this slide, any doubts you ask? There are things that you should not do in a hook. So no doubts. Let's go to the next slide. What not to be done in the core argument. Sorry, I'm telling hook. Yeah. So what not to be done in a core argument. The first thing, again, this will be dictated. So pay attention. Very important. Core argument. Avoid citations, quotations, and definitions. Don't quote some author, philosopher, Bapu, Mahatma Gandhi, B.R. Ambedkar, Socrates, or start defining what is darkness, what is candle, what is artificial intelligence, what is inclusive growth. Don't. Because remember, in core argument, you have to give your opinion. The author's opinion is being asked in the core argument, point of view of author. So do not quote anybody. That means you're ruining the essence of the core argument by quoting somebody. So if at all you're tempted to quote somebody, let's say you know a very good one-liner or two-liner, which can be an excellent core argument. I'll teach you a technique. First, shamelessly steal that quote. Don't give the attribution. If it is a very well-known quote, which almost everybody will be aware of, paraphrase it, just change the English here and there, active voice, passive voice, just change it and do not attribute it to anybody. But attributing would be an error here because you cannot attribute the core argument because it has to be your opinion. So shamelessly steal, aram se. These are all the jugards you have to do. And after shamelessly stealing, my dear friends, don't exactly use it verbatim, just change, be smart. And flowery language, Shashi Tharoor kind of language, doesn't work. Absolutely doesn't work at all. It will ruin the core argument. If the examiner does not understand the flowery language, he's not like your English miss की dictionary लेके देखेंगे, नहीं समझ में आया तो आया, नहीं आया तो गया, as simple as that. And many people who are still new to writing core argument have this jugad, or they attempt this where they restate the topic itself as core argument. Please, for the love of God, don't do that. It looks very poor on your part. Like for example, this only, defy and define Ola. When darkness surrounds us, a candle, when burned by its light, can lead the darkness to go away. Khatam, you are just restating the topic in different words. Don't do that. Don't restate the topic itself as a core argument. It's not very impactful. I'm not saying it's wrong, just that it's not impactful. Okay. So any doubts of what not to do in a core argument? What not to be done in a core argument? Any doubts? One each. So you have to write it concisely, as concisely as possible. Core argument is the major supporting argument, the primary foundation, that's all. And its derivatives should always be coming in the body. The major argument in support, major in this thing. Can you give example of stealing and rephrasing? Sab kuch main karun kya? All right. So let's say the topic is courage to accept and dedication to improve are two keys to success. And I have this very famous quote Failures are the stepping stone to success. I want to, it's a very impactful quote and which very well will fit as a core argument. So I cannot use it directly क्योंकि बचपन से पढ़ते आ रहे हैं, failures are the stepping stones to success. So how do I rephrase it? How do I steal it? Is this way. At times when we are facing failures, we have to realize that they are laying a path for us to walk on, one step after the other, because each failure brings us closer to success. Each failure brings us closer to success. But I have to link it to courage to accept and dedication to improve also, right? So then I have to start linking it to courage to accept and dedication to improve. As long as we have fortitude, I'm not using the exact courage, so mix it up. As long as we have fortitude and belief in ourselves and ability and self-awareness to realize our own flaws and mistakes, right? And since this courage to accept and dedication to improve are two steps to success, is a almost purely analytical argument. I will not go for an antithesis here. So this belongs to the 10%. 10% of the topic where there is no point countering it. And if you write that thesis in support, antithesis in opposition, and then examiner reads that a good hook, and then backed by a strong core argument, a good hook backed by a strong core argument, the examiner will be like, kya baat hai? Right? He will be impressed. It's a strong start. It's a good hook and a strong core argument is a strong start to your essay. All right. Take down. Thesis statement. Thesis statement. It contains two parts. It contains two parts. The core argument, which also outlines the point of view of the author. The core argument, which also outlines the point of view of the author. Next point. The purpose of the essay. Purpose of the essay. Next point. Purpose of the essay, which outlines the broad dimensions. We will be taking in the essay. The broad dimensions that we will be taking in the essay. Take a note. Note. Core argument has to be written. Core argument has to be written, while purpose of the essay is optional and can be skipped. Purpose of the essay is optional and can be skipped. Next, subheading core argument. Core argument. First point. Core argument is the primary or foundational argument core argument is the primary or the foundational argument which expresses author's opinion, or stand, with respect to the topic. Author's opinion or stand with respect to the topic. Next point. any other arguments slash counter arguments slash analysis slash additional dimensions will either be a derivative of the core argument, or in support of the core argument, or contrary to the core argument, Put a subheading, how to write a core argument, question mark. How to write a core argument. Number one, it must be holistic. Next, it must be holistic. It must give balanced opinion. Next, it should be concise and impactful. Next, the opinion of the author must be crystal clear. Next, the keywords. In bracket, write some. You don't have to dump all the keywords. The keywords which perfectly align to the essay topic have to be used. The keywords in bracket some which perfectly align with the essay topic have to be used. Take down in the bracket as discussed in the earlier exercises, because if you open this workbook after 1 week and you don't find it, and you're like, what keywords, where did it come from, where? So can't risk it, as discussed in the earlier exercises. Next point, use the nature of the topic as a guiding path to determine the extent of balance between thesis and antithesis. And also use common sense, because that is very important here. You should see what fits, what doesn't fit. Otherwise, if you ruin the core argument, you may as well ruin the entire essay. Also use common sense. Take down in bracket again before you forget. Partly analytical, fully analytical. Just take that reference: partly analytical, partly argumentative, fully analytical, etc., etc. So that is your nature of the topic, right? That we learned. Now, take down next point. Synthesis in bracket core argument. Synthesis in bracket core argument. Synthesis in bracket core argument is equal to thesis in support, thesis in support plus antithesis in opposition, antithesis in opposition, in bracket, take down, sometimes additional dimension, sometimes additional dimension, antithesis in opposition, and sometimes instead of antithesis or with antithesis you use an additional dimension, in bracket, additional dimension. Put this in the box. Put it in a box. Synthesis or core argument is equal to thesis in support plus antithesis in opposition. So do not confuse thesis in support. Thesis in support means supporting argument, that's all. Don't confuse this thesis with thesis statement. Yes, Amok, it takes time. It takes time to, like, get to decide what topic is there. So remember, Rome was not built in a day, and you have to keep practicing, keep saying, trial and error, and then on August 22nd, by August 22nd, you will be ready. Don't worry. We'll work on it. Take down a note. Take down a note. The above technique works. The above technique works for most of the topic. The above technique works for most of the topic, but might not work. But it might not work if a philosophical topic, is universally true. If a philosophical topic is universally true. Hence, use common sense. Hence, use common sense. The thing about common sense, guys, is that it is not so common. Okay? Common sense is not so common. Right? Next, subheading. How not to write a core argument. How not to write a core argument. Okay, first point, narrow interpretation. Narrow interpretation. Number 2, giving citations, quotations by quoting authors, philosophers, thinkers. Giving citations, quotations by quoting authors, philosophers, thinkers, and leaders. Next, defining keywords of the essay. So you have to avoid that in core argument. Defining keywords of the essay. Using a flowery language. Using flowery language. Next, restating the topic itself. Restating the topic itself. Next, over elaborating. Next, having an unclear opinion or expression. Having an unclear opinion or expression. Having an unclear opinion or expression. All right, that's about it. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we'll start with the exercises on core argument. So first half of the session will be exercises on core argument, both philosophical topics and technical topics. And once we are done with that, we are going to move on to body. In body, we are going to learn three major styles: the analytical style, the argumentative style based on arguments and counter arguments, and then the descriptive style. So these three things, and we'll do probably one or two of them tomorrow, and remaining on day after tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, we'll finish off the body and enter the introduction. Sorry, enter the conclusion. And once we are done with the conclusion, we'll work a little bit on the flow as well, a little bit on the flow as well. And after that, as I told earlier, I announced for offline batch also. I told in the morning I'm considering shifting, and now I have decided that we will do expertise after you have a hold on skill enhancement. And year long, don't worry, we can do it. You can attend either next month or you can attend after that also, no problem at all. So that means your test will be preponed. Okay, your test will be preponed. I'll just share you the modified timetable, okay, for you people. And that's about it. Okay, thank you for joining me on Saturday evening. Yeah, same. We'll keep the same timings, both for online and offline. Okay. So since I'm working late, I stay here till every day. I'm staying here till 12:30, going home at late night. So I can start around 11:30. That will be ideal. And then evening 11:30 to 2:30 for morning, and offline, and 6 o'clock. Okay, 6 to 9 for online people. Okay, that will be, and middle I can do my other work and have my lunch, and then after that now I can get back to work. All right then, kal milte hain, right? Take care, have a good night. Okay, I have to stop the recording first. Yeah, I'm very scared, I'm very